Okay, there are these fundamental rules that basically run the internet. And one of the most important ones, well, it's about to change. Forever. We're talking about a mandatory industry-wide shift that's going to put an insane amount of pressure on the digital trust of pretty much every single online business. And hey, this isn't some far-off prediction. This is a deadline.
All right, let's just dive right into this timeline because it lays it all out. By March of 2026, that's not far away, the maximum lifespan for a public TLS certificate is going to drop to just 200 days. A year later, boom, it's cut in half, down to 100 days. And then in 2029, we hit the new normal, a 47-day lifespan. Now, this isn't optional. You can't opt out. This is the new reality being enforced by the CA/browser form, and it completely throws the old operational playbook out the window.
For years, the rhythm was pretty simple, right? Renew your certificates once a year. But this is a massive acceleration. It means that the old manual way of managing your digital trust is going from just being inefficient to being completely, utterly unworkable. We are looking at a huge increase in frequency, and that is a ticking time bomb for any process that depends on a human being. So let's see how this all builds up, because relying on spreadsheets and calendar reminders is about to trigger a total systemic failure. And I'm not being dramatic here. The data, well, it paints a really stark picture of what happens when these manual processes collide with high frequency and, incredibly high stakes. And this right here, this just perfectly illustrates the financial risk. $1.1 million. Let that sink in. That is the average cost of a single service outage from one expired certificate. Just think about that. Every time you do a manual renewal, you're basically rolling the dice, and the price for failure is over $1 million.
Now, what's really fascinating about this is that it's not some rare what-if scenario. No, 72% of organizations have already been hit with outages from certificate expirations in just the last year. This is what's happening today, with certificates that last over a year. Can you even imagine what this number is going to look like when renewals are happening 8 times more often? And this is where the math just gets staggering. By 2029, if you're trying to manually manage even a modest portfolio of, say, 1,000 certificates, you'll need to spend over 23,000 hours a year just on that one task. That's like having almost a dozen full-time engineers doing nothing but certificate management. It's not just a drain on your resources, it's an operational black hole.
So, the crucial point here is that this isn't about just working harder or hiring more people. The experts are all in agreement. It is a mathematical impossibility. As the lifespan shrinks, the renewal workload just multiplies exponentially. The old way of managing certificates by hand isn't just broken, it's about to be completely and totally overwhelmed.
This table just makes the difference crystal clear. So, manually validating a certificate, that can take up to a full day. Automation does it in under 30 seconds. What about installation? We're talking a couple of hours versus less than a minute. But the real killer here is the human error risk. With manual work, it's always high. It's always there. With real automation, it drops to 0. In a 47-day world, you just can't afford the delays or the risks that come with that manual column.
The fallout from sticking with the old way, it's really severe. You've got the obvious stuff, right? Unplanned outages, critical security breaches. But there's this quieter, almost more dangerous problem called inventory blindness. That's when you don't even know about all the certificates you have out there, and you can't protect what you can't see, which leaves these huge, gaping holes in your security and your compliance.
So yeah, we're at a turning point. We're facing a workload that is mathematically impossible and a financial risk that is absolutely catastrophic. Automation? Well, it's no longer a best practice or a nice to have. It is an essential survival strategy. It is the only practical way forward to maintain security and keep things running.
Okay, so if manual is a dead end, what does a real solution even look like? Well, this brings us to CertLedgerPro. And this wasn't just designed as another tool, it was purpose-built from the ground up as a framework to solve this exact problem, giving teams the power they need to master this coming 47-day era.
Let's break down how it actually deals with the chaos we've been talking about. It's really all about 3 core pillars. First, visibility and continuous discovery. This directly solves that inventory blindness problem. Second, zero-touch lifecycle automation. This is what makes that impossible 23,000-hour workload just disappear. And third, governance and crypto agility, which gives you the control to enforce your policies and react to threats instantly.
And this, right here, shows you what true control really looks like. Crypto agility.
It's not just another buzzword. It is the actual, concrete ability to find and replace your entire inventory of certificates in a matter of hours, not weeks or months. So a new vulnerability gets discovered, a new standard is mandated. With crypto agility, you can literally click and forget it, knowing your whole infrastructure is updated and secure.
What's so powerful here is that this is not just about solving the immediate 47-day crisis. CertLedgerPro is designed to future-proof your entire digital trust strategy. So yeah, it handles today's crazy fast lifecycle, but it also gets you ready for the next big cryptographic shift with a built-in vault for post-quantum cryptography. On top of that, an immutable blockchain ledger makes sure every single action is auditable and completely secure.
So the bottom line is, you can finally get rid of the guesswork. With continuous discovery tools like CertLedger Hunter Plus that sniff out every single certificate, even the ones from Shadow IT, you go from a state of constant uncertainty to one of complete and total control over your digital identity landscape. And really, this is the question that every single technical and business leader needs to be asking themselves right now. The math is clear. The timeline is set in stone. The risks are massive. So the choice is, are you going to proactively build an agile, automated system that's prepared for this new reality? Or are you going to wait for the mathematically certain failure of the old way? The clock is ticking.